packed schedule today and we're already running behind. So let's go ahead and get started. And as a reminder, yes, for guests and visitors, my name is Steve Perley, club president, and I'd like to welcome you all to the 31st meeting of the 48th year of the Dublin Worthington Rotary. Today's Pledge of Allegiance will be offered by Mr. Alwood.
Want to do invocation first?
Oh, yeah, I missed one. Indication's good.
Have you ever done this before? I really pray. Holy Father, please help us use this newly revived springtime season to revive the newness in our hearts, homes, and in our lives. Help us to be more loving, generous, thoughtful, and open to the needs of others. As we live day by day, remind us of the beauty of spring and what new beginnings mean. Place those in our paths that need help, present us with the situations where we can support others, and give us insight on when to show compassion. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic.
Thank you, Al. Teresa's not here, is she? Oh, she wasn't. Jim Barner, I'll put you on the spot. If you could introduce our guests. And while you're getting that together, we're gonna go right to sports.
Oh, I can do this, I guess.
Okay, yeah.
Yes, Victor introduced Lauren Robinson, who was Worthington's new library director as of January the 3rd. Lauren and her family, who are Mike, her husband, who works with Miami University, her son Josh, who's a 7th grader at Perry, and Sam, who's a 5th grader at Bluffview, and they live in Stilton, Harlem, which is right across from Perry Middle School. So I'm sure Josh is really happy. Formerly, Lauren was the director of the branch Preble County Library System. And while she was at Preble County, she was a member of the Eaton Rotary Club, and even when served on the board, was going to be secretary this next year, right? So she's interested in learning more about our club and being a member, so please welcome Lauren.
Okay, we have several other guests, and I will not give you introductions that long, sorry. Laura Perez Carrera,
She's gonna be speaking in a little while.
one of our speakers, okay, Rand Hubert. Also a speaker, I think, or he's here.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, Jessica Bookwalter. Susan Firefrock,
Benefrock.
Feinfrock, excuse me, Benefrock, and Cindy Boyd.
And there are winners. Perfect. Thank you. All right, now we're ready to get started. Get your wallets out.
Knows me well. Good afternoon, everybody. Great to see you all. And smiling faces. Let's see, we'll start with happy dollars. I know we get some happy people out here.
I'm happy.
Back here, Tom Rice.
I'm happy and proud of my grandson, who's a junior at Thomas Worthington, was accepted to go to the Academy, Air Force Academy for a week to see what the Academy is like if he ends up going there. So I'm pretty
All right, congratulations. Hang on, now, before I get to you, Steve. Dr. Norris. I mean, we got a doctor in our midst here and he's wearing blue jeans. Go up there and get the pot. Carry that around. Show your pretty face to everybody. No, he's got, look at that. He's got his running shoes on too. He knew he was gonna carry the pot today. All right, Steve, go ahead. What do you got?
I'm happy that our first bourbon raffle is completed and was a success. So
Wow.
Successful.
Jerry
We'll find
Katz.
out.
Jerry Katz.
I'm putting in $2, one, because Roe Morrow is sitting beside me. That's nice, that's always a pleasure. And secondly, because she brought Jennifer home, and that is really something, because we need her. Thank you. That's the wrong pot, George.
And where were they?
Yeah, well, I'll let them tell you.
Oh, okay.
I know where, but let them tell you, they can pay $1. Hey, George, you better put $1 in the real pot when you get it. I mean, it's just for carrying the wrong one. Okay, we got another one back here.
I'm really happy. A couple weeks ago, our granddaughter, one Maggie, got her PhD in physics.
Thanks, man. Great news here there. Anybody else? Oh, Rose, where'd you go on vacation this time? You went?
We saw tulips, and the fruit was a beer enthusiast, so we got lots of Belgian beer.
Nice. Nice.
Here.
All right. Ro, did you get to visit the tulip fields?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite a sight when you see that in the spring. Unbelievable. Any other happy dollars? Right here.
My daughter Jennifer is going to Spain next Wednesday for a week to visit her daughter.
Any happy dollars? Any other? Here, we got another one back here.
Yeah, we'd like to put in a couple dollars as happy winners of your grand prize.
All right. Yeah. For those of you in the crowd that don't recognize our guests here today, we do have a few of the bourbon raffle winners here. David?
I'm just very happy to announce that this Saturday I'll be going down to Veracruz. They're going to be inaugurating the Temazcal, the Sweat Lodge. That is our partner club down there. And I'm so pleased to know that Darnell is going to join me there. So there'll be two of us. All right. You tell them to keep the spot for LT there. Okay. And he will show up there. Anybody else? All right. Oh, how many people we have on Zoom today? We have quite a few people on Zoom. Well, when we get $1 for all these people on Zoom, this is a really exciting meeting and they're not here. So we'll get $1 for all of them. Let's see what else we have here. We got a lot of stuff going on this month. What a big month. Anybody get the chance to watch the women's Final Four or the men's Final Four? Raise your hand. All right. How many and how many of those fans out there got to watch Iowa play in that final? Anybody else who didn't get to watch your girls play, put in $1. Because that Caitlin Clark girl is something special. She's one of the finer basketball players in the country, I can tell you that. Also, we had a last performance for Jim Nance. It's the last time he is going to announce the basketball tournament. Did anybody tell me the first time Jim Nance announced the basketball game?
1803.
Anybody?
84.
Nobody?
1987.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Let me see. Oh, sorry, Ken, carry you wrong. So everybody pays $1 for Ken Carey. That would have been 1986 was his first broadcast. So, you know, if I was gonna give a year. No, that's his first. It's listed in all. You know, because check it, get your Google out. Google never lies. Okay, who else we have here? How many folks out here have been to the Masters? How many of you, keep your hands up, how many of you have got to play golf this year as well? Keep your hand, oh, let's see. Okay, so those of you who didn't have your hand up, you gotta put in $1. We're not being as privileged as Mr. Carey back there. I can't find him because he's a sergeant. He said I'd be in trouble.
That's not how it works.
All right, last one. Anybody here that lives in Dublin? That's Dublin, Ohio, not Ireland, so Dublin has residents. Okay, you have the fine distinction of being named the top 3, they're in the top 10 festivals in the nation. The Irish Fest was named 3rd in the nation. So congratulations for that, putting in $1 for being a Dublin resident. And that's all I have today. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mike. All right, like I said, we've got a lot to do, so we're gonna keep driving along. If you have announcements, please make your way up here. And I'd like to bring up our grand prize winners, Susan, Cindy, and Justin. Come on up. Jerry, should you be up here too?
See the hall we got.
Gary Cass.
Good.
We can just pretend, you don't have to tell everybody. So I'm pleased to have with us today the grand prize winners of our Bourbon raffle. We have Susan Finnebrock, Cindy Boyd, and Jessica Bookwalter. These ladies all went in on 6 tickets, was it? And won our grand prize worth $17,200. It was the 6-bottle Happy Van Winkle set. And so on behalf of the club, I want to thank you for your support, and I'm pleased to present you with these checks. Yeah.
So you- Yeah, get on the other side. Okay, good. Get in there.
Yeah.
Get in there.
I will.
Okay,
Go ahead.
Okay, ready? One. Yeah. Okay, and mine? No, sorry. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay, we'll do one more. Try to get that chair out of the way. Steve, can you move that chair out of the way? It's pretty light chair. Okay, that's good. 1, 2, 3. I think we're good.
Thank you.
So as a result of this fundraiser, my current projections show that we're gonna be netting somewhere around $8,750. Obviously far short of expectations, but in my mind, this is only the beginning. As many of you know, we were unable to get mass promotion through Facebook, but I'm pleased to say that with 3 days left in the raffle, we did get the approval. So we are now in a great position to run another raffle in a few months with full ads next time. So that would be like 90 days of running. That would be fantastic. So overall, I'd call it a success. Any other announcements? Certainly there's people with announcements. Well, then I'll keep going. So thanks to everybody that came out to the rah-rah last week at North Market over in Bridge Park or New Dublin, whatever you want to call it. I think we had 15, 20 people there. It was a lot of fun. Polio Plus. District Governor Bryce Finley has asked me to, for the month of April, really promote Polio Plus. Our club historically has been a pretty strong giver in the foundation and polio efforts. Typically, year over year, we have about 20 people participate. Right now, we're sitting at about 5. I know, according to Jennifer, right, we have a lot of people that committed to Polio Plus, but maybe they've not paid their invoice yet. And this causes a lot of consternation at the district and at our club. So if you've already committed to Polio Plus, please pay your invoice so we can get recognized for it. If you have not yet made your contributions to Polio Plus or the annual fund, please do so. Price has a pretty lofty goal of 1,500 members in our district participating. I think we're at 900, and there's about 3,500 people in the district, so certainly doable. Okay. And then also, the district conference is coming up April 28th and Saturday, April 29th. I'm registered. If I remember, Jerry said it's free. He didn't use those exact words, but it's free for club members to go. AKA the club will reimburse you. So if you want to come with me, let's do it. Register. And then finally, if you have anything you want to get in the newsletter, please email it to pr@dublinworthingtonrotary.org. That way Kim, Christy, and myself all get a copy of it. Okay, without further ado, we've got our first presentation. And so I'd like to bring up Rand from the district. Let's talk about youth exchange.
So it's a privilege to work with Rotary Youth Exchange. I've gotten the pleasure of working with Ro for a number of years. This is the 10th year that I've been the Youth Exchange Officer for the Delaware Club. And for the last number of years, we've had 2 inbound and 2 outbound students every year, and it's been really a big privilege for me. I'm retired, and this is a great program to work with if you're retired. And in this particular year, we've had Laura, who's going to come up in a minute, and her friend Kiki from Taiwan in Delaware. And every year is different. We have students from different countries. We have students going out to different countries. It's really a very exciting program. And to give you a taste of it, I'm going to ask Laura to come up and talk a little bit about her exchange this year.
Hello, my name is Laura Perez Correa. I'm from Colombia, and I'm really glad to be here. So that's my presentation. I'm from Colombia. That's a wonderful place. Yeah, always summer. So winter is not for me. It's like new thing. That's awesome. I love winter. Like something funny is like in my school is yeah, summer. Just like oh, okay. So that's the location. You can see USA flag and little Colombia right there. It's very small in comparison to yours, but it's a very awesome country. So my city, I think is a small city, but it's wonderful. It's no traffic. The people is very nice. You have like different places to have fun. I like my city for live, but it's okay. That's the main city in my country. We have Bogota, the capital, so a lot of people know Bogota. Medellin, Pereira, Cali. Cali is very close to my city, so you have an idea. Cali, we say, is the salsa capital for the dance. We have Manizales and Pasto, but we also have a wonderful landscapes like Valle Cocora, San Andres is an awesome beaches and like that. It's awesome. Cartagena, San Cipriano, Caño Cristales, you can see like different colors and it's for different colors. So it's wonderful. And what the thing. Also, we have a lot of towns, but this is my top 3 of my favorites. Is Finlandia, Boyacá, and Valle de Leyva. They keep like history and this architecture, so it's wonderful. Food, I love Colombian food. You can see patacon, down is lechona. You can see the 3 arepas. The up is bandeja paisa, and the other ones are empanadas. So, I think that one is 2 minutes.
Great.
Yeah.
That's all there is.
I have more, but it's okay. So, now I want to show you some histories that I have here. So, football is new for me, like completely new for me. And I get my host family, they love Bengals. So I get my t-shirt and I saw the Bengals in the couch. So now I understand football, that's the point. Then comes something like basketball. Basketball, we know basketball in Colombia, but we don't have March Madnesses. So when my host does it, like, oh, Laura, you need to do this. And you're like, okay. So they just go like for colors and pets, and we will see what happens. So I remember I chose Crystals because it looked like the Bengals. And no one in my group managers choose Crystals. So everyone is like, nah, you know what that you want with this. Yes, we have the first place. Yes, me. That's awesome. He's upset, like upset, obsessed. And he spent a lot of time going like the teams and this win with this, and so this won the last time, so there's no way that won the time. And then he's like, nah, listen, you can try with two good colors. Kiki. Kiki is one friend exchange from Taiwan. We have a very strong relationship here. Like he's a very good friend. He's very nice. and we improve our English really good. I don't know, if you have questions for me, I can answer everyone. You first.
How long have you been here?
Oh, sorry. I arrived in August. I stay here for the school year. I live in July 6th.
I read an article a while ago, I don't remember where, but it was about the new Medellin and how the
Yes.
city has been built out and the cable
Yes.
cars. Can you tell
So
us a little bit?
it's like the last maybe 5 years, and they Medellin is a big city, but now with the culture and the paisa culture, we say paisa, but from people from Medellin, they have a very strong and different culture, like the food that I just showed. So they started with this special transportation, like starting with buildings, like edifications, and get better so fast. That's true.
Are the cable cars wonderful?
Yeah.
Your native language, Spanish or Portuguese?
It's Spanish. Yes, we speak Spanish. Mhm. Okay.
Tell them about your art projects.
Oh, okay, yes. So it's not from Colombia, but in my school, art is more like history. So we learn like for the famous pictures and painters, like it's more history. So I never draw and something like that. So I come here and I saw the project and it's fun, but there's no way that I can do that. And I improve a lot. Friend and my teacher, my family are very proud of me because I just like think like how I can do that is nothing I can do before. It's like one thing that I discovered here. Also, I participate in the swim team in my school. Those also my can have the opportunity for find new people and have like my group friends and that. So
How are adjusting to school here
oh,
every year?
so if I honest, I prefer the school here because it's more fun. You can enjoy more your school year. You can find the things that you like. And like in my country, you just need to start the same classes that you have in first grade. So you need to keep your grades in all your subjects or your 11 years. So in my case, I work always for my A plus that I find my thing that I like it. So here, I think that the people have more opportunities to find the thing that they want to do after high school.
Thank you very much. Very interesting and good to see what's happening in youth exchange. Fantastic. All right, so now I think we're ready for our program for today. I believe that is Court Chapman. But first, Tim, I think you'd like to come on up. Or Joe?
I'll just. There's Court. I know he's coming up. You just have a word to set the scene here. for us.
I have a brief.
Oh, good. Go ahead.
Hi, everybody. So as you guys know, it's International Service Day. But before our chair emeritus comes up to give you some interesting words of wisdom at the head, I want to take a moment to, with great delight, come on up, Toya, to introduce you to another dear friend from Mongolia, Toya Monkjargal. Hi, you're just that right there. Toya is a member of the Club of Hore, which is probably the most elegant Rotary Club in UB. Some of you may remember the fancy slides I had about the celebration party. Was that the 5th anniversary, Toya?
Yeah, but the 25th.
25th. And Toya just joined, she's here in DC. So I'm gonna let her tell you a little bit about what brings her and her school to DC. But she just joined the DC Rotary Club. And so without further ado, would you all join me in welcoming our friend from Mongolia, Toya Monkjargal.
Hi, everybody. So every club has certain appreciation or commonalities. So far I can see you guys, you are a very happy club. Yeah, and then very good, parents club, because I saw one who has a daughter graduate from PhD in physics. Oh, wow, that's so wonderful. And then great winners club. So I saw 15,000 grand prize winners. That's a very good sign to be here. Very happy club and lucky club. So I originally from Mongolia, capital city of Mongolia is called Ulaanbaatar. It is translated like Red Hero, very much maybe we are very much related to socialist system and history.
Always between Russia and China. You
We
got
have no choice between these two big, maybe trouble countries. So that my idea joining back 2011, the Rotary community was I could contribute some in education. So I have started a bilingual independent school in Mongolia. So back 8-9 years ago, and it is a bilingual. So our priority is Western education, American system, health-wise, and we took all the curriculums that the public school would provide here. And then I have combined the Mongolian education system with an American curriculum, and then we have some charter school type of schools, so that parents are from middle and lower middle income families, and then we push them with Western education that we could produce many hundreds of young people, so young generation educated in Western civilization, that we are really not really dependent from Russians, big brothers, or the Chinese dragons, So this is the kind of desire for freedom and for more freer economy and so on. And then our friend Tim has witnessed it and then could tell more stories about it. And then Tim's good friend, and you probably know Ariungo, so she's a girl from a Rotary club. So she had visited your club and the Ohio, and then she had done so great presentation in my club, home country club. And then so it gave me so much encouragement, so that I'm in a good direction. So in a building hundreds of kids. So I have recent 700 kids in my school, and already graduated more than 100. And then I'm really appreciating that the good idea can spread away in big numbers. Like I have 100 kids graduated, and some are studying at Harvard University and Pennsylvania State and then New York University and so on. All got a scholarship. So I was helping them through all the process and so on. Yeah, one little single woman could make big effort. So I am so thankful for Rotary community at all. And this goes to your club. This is my last week of being a Kure club member, so Mongolian club member. Thank you.
We're not do one more, maybe. Will. Okay.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Toya.
Yeah,
And
if you have somebody, experienced in education and school endowment funds, then help me out further. So I keep, visiting your club in the future. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
And Toya, and we'll be staying after adjournment. Anybody that wants to talk about Mongolia, please drop by.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Tim, is this your phone?
Yeah, just leave it there.
All right. Now I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Patchen of the IC committee.
Thank you very much. Your International Service Committee is pleased to update you on our continuing efforts around the globe, and we're going to be I'm going to be up here with a crook to make sure everybody stays on time, so we'll get through this real fast. But Courtney, our chair emeritus of our committee and guiding light, will remind us all of what Rotary International tells us about international service, which we try to assess as we look at our programs and our efforts. So let me hit it, and then we'll have a parade of speakers who hit all three of our main topics. Thanks.
You need this?
They will.
Okay.
Let's say today, what you're gonna hear about is how this committee has been carrying out the procedures that are called for by RI. And so some of you may say, what procedures is this? Well, and for some of you new members who are not acquainted with how RI works, there is a thing that is called the Manual of Procedures. And this is kind of like the Bible. Do you want to know anything about how any part of Rotary works, starting with the president through the districts and down into the clubs and down into the committees? So in this case, I get right down into the committee. It says that those activities that members do to advance, it's an interesting word, to advance 3 goals. Number 1 is international understanding. 2 is goodwill. And number 3 is peace. So this is the foundation for which we work through any of the projects. And actually, the procedure actually recommends some ways that you can work towards these things and accomplishment, like reading books, talking to people, having a pen pal. And all those kinds of things contribute to our understanding of international cultures and accomplishments of other countries. And those are all important things. So the work of the committee is to work on all 3 of those goals and on projects to help people in other lands. And that's what we're really going to talk about more today. You will hear about 3 projects of this committee. One is a long-term project. And I'll fill you in more in a little bit. A long-term project in which we've invested more than $100,000. And when I say invested, I want to also say mentored that money, because it comes from donations as well as grants. And one of the things that is true of all 3 of these groups is the mentorship and the good, good work in taking care of funds and seeing ways to expand it. So that's one, long term. The second one is underway. That's now one that can involve not only our club, but the district and RI administration in the higher level. That's 2. The third one is in the very early stages of relationship building. When I use the word relationship building, that's one of the first things that the club does when they're thinking about doing a project or working something somehow. It's to build relationships with the people. And you all know that that takes time to do that. And in fact, in our early one, it was 3 years before I think the other club actually trusted us and believes that we were for real in doing it. So that's the job of 3 people here now to talk about those committees. You in the audience, your job is to listen very carefully and pick out and understand how this project is working towards all 3 of the goals. First one up. Dave Kiffey.
I'm Dave Kittredge, and I'm going to talk to you about the Dominican Republic programming that we have going on. The core of that program is working with the community of Barrio Lindo, which is a neighborhood in Santiago. And we work with the Barrio Lindo Rotary Community Group. And we have 2 programming aspects that we use. One is the scholarship program where we work with middle school youth, where we take kids where there's a 20% unemployment rate for youth in the Dominican Republic, but business and industry is unable to find certain semi-skilled and unskilled labor. So we provide scholarships to PISA, which is a vocational school, and the kids get a 4-year education and then come out with a skill, and the business community has worked with us and they provide jobs. This is Moises Martes, and he is kind of our poster child. He was kind of banging around the neighborhood by the school. His mother was sweeping parking lots, and his father had just committed suicide. Yes, sir.
Into the microphone, please.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
His father had just committed suicide. And so the school personnel picked him up and thought he would be a good candidate for our scholarship program. And we did enroll him, and he successfully completed the program. And this is where he and his mother lived. It was a dirt floor, so it's apartments, but it's cinder block, probably about 100 all crammed in together. And dirt floor, hot plate. And now he has a job with a business in the community where he's a machinist. And you can see he's fixing up the place that he and his mother live. He's got new stoves, sink cabinets, and he's taking pride in it. And you know, you all can take some pride because you basically raised the money that helped him get the education that allowed the businesses to hire him. The second thrust of our programming in the Dominican Republic is with the Barrio Lindo Health Clinic. You know, the 2 thrusts are the scholarship program deals with basically, if you're going to have economic stability, you got to have a job. So we get the kids and we get them a job. The health clinic basically is the second leg of our program. And basically, illnesses that we've dealt with successfully for years, they haven't, and they miss a lot of work because of it. And so we helped beef up the primary healthcare clinic that serves Barrio Lindo and other communities, so that people have primary care within walking distance for most of them. For these simply treated diseases, so they don't miss as much work and they can hold down a job. So this is, as you can see, it's a Rotary Club sponsored. We do it with our twin club in Santiago, the Santiago de los Caballeros Rotary Club. These are one of the primary service components of the program is maternal health and infant health. These are 2 of the women in the waiting room that allowed me to take their picture one day. We recently just had a global grant with Rotary International in our district, where we helped buy all new equipment for the clinic and upgrade its standards. And we helped them deal in a more proper way with contagious diseases like tuberculosis. This is a staff reception area that had just been a desk out in the middle of the waiting room, but this allows staff to be protected from the infectious diseases. We also completely redid the dental suite. And now people from all over San Diego are coming to this clinic. And in the future, we have which we're in the process of beginning a global grant to do another clinic. And we're trying to get more participation from the district health folks to upgrade all of their clinics. And hopefully we can continue to get more buy-in from the health officials in the country and San Diego and continue this model forward. But this is what we did at Barrio Lindo. The new dental chair. And we have a pharmacy that we added to the clinic. Many times doctors would prescribe medicines, but patients had they didn't have the money to go to the local pharmacy to buy it. And many times they didn't have the means to go to the pharmacy, they were walking. So this is a government funded, low income, low cost pharmacy for where they can get their prescription right there at the clinic. So there's no excuse. And this increases the advocacy of treatment manyfold. And that is the Dominican Republic in a nutshell. No, okay.
This is your phone. I'm gonna need this. Well, I'm back again. And there's oftentimes, bear with me, I think I can bring this up quickly. As is oftentimes the case with me, you guys hear me talk about my friends in Mongolia. Because in the almost immortal words of Courtney Chapman, Chair Emeritus of our committee, because we were kind of out in front in this district doing international service. And Courtney always said to us, it takes a while to build these relationships because it's not next door. And we're about building relationships. And I'm going to tell you just a couple things about that. So some of you may remember several years ago, as I was on my way to Korea for the convention that year, my dear friend Jerry Katz, in his immortal words, I'm going to do it again, Jerry, took me aside and said, Tim, you're only going to be, whoops. Did I screw it up, you guys? A little bit.
Jerry, do you have anything to say about him now?
Jerry said to me, Tim, you're only going to be a Rotary Club president, maybe one time. Why don't you see if you can think about doing something audacious? So the most audacious thing I could do was to go 12 time zones away. Now, the first time I was in Mongolia was 1998. There was one Rotary Club in Mongolia in 1998. When I was your ambassador 6 years ago, there were, I think, 17 clubs, Toya, in Mongolia. It's not quite Singapore, you guys, but it is a young Asian tiger. It's growing like a weed. Back one slide. Yep, thank you. Be careful with that. Okay. So some of you may recognize Le Chatelet. This was back at the beginning. That was many of the core members of our International Service Committee, as well as Arangu, who many of you will recognize, and some other friends from Mongolia, and the district governor at the time, Craig Maxey, more about him in a moment. And that's the way it started. For any of you that are newer to our club since then, we invite you to get involved. We're having some fun. We're doing some good things. Whoops. Got it. So that's Faculty Club.
Thereafter, Arungu and a bunch of her colleagues came the first time 5 years ago. Many of you will remember that as a result of that and her revolutionary Let's Read program that takes books to kids all over the country of Mongolia, in many instances, little ones that have never had their own book before. That's Rotary making a difference. And because of Craig Maxey, back that year, we had the president-elect's training seminars from all 5 districts in Ohio down at the Renaissance, and we collected almost 40,000 books. Of those, almost 18,000 were suitable, meaning the ones that were beat up, or for a 20-year-old, we had 2 copies of Atlas Shrugged. That wasn't going to Mongolia for 5-year-olds, but we sent almost 18,000 books. We took them all over the country in the course of a couple weeks. Toya, you know, some people said to us when we told them we went all the way out to Holt, which is almost Kazakhstan, they said, and you guys flew all the way there? And we said, no, we drove. And they looked at us and said, you're nuts. But we provided books to almost 100 different schools and libraries. We made a huge difference. And thereafter, as you can see, we have a sister club. We have friends in Mongolia's, what now, 19 clubs. They have a tremendous growth at Rotary. And as many of you know, from there, it was a leapfrog to NGSE, which is the New Generation Service Exchange. We took a bunch of teachers, Rotarians, many, from this district to Mongolia last summer. Our good friends on the other side are coming here. We now know almost for sure, COVIDious challenges notwithstanding, that they're coming around Labor Day, which is right after September, Toya. And almost lastly, but by no means least, the grandest thing that's happened was last November. I'm moving quick, Win. The last thing that happened was last November. We had a delegation of Rotarians come, led by Arungu, to our zone institute, which is zone 3031 in Chattanooga. That's John Germ's district. We met Gordon McAnally, who's going to be the RI president in a few weeks. Gordon's going to Mongolia in November. So are we. First time ever for an RI president in Mongolia. And where that goes, you guys, is many of you listen to me talk about how to build a global grant. Well, the global grant, now that's COVID's over, is we're being told not only includes us, but the Peace Committee, which Darnell and I represent for you and is joined at the hip with international service, and developing peace-oriented books in all probability for the kids in Mongolia, partnering with some of our partners here, like perhaps Highlights for Children, partnering with the Mongolian Education Alliance over there, under the auspices, we hope, of Gordon McAnally, and working with all sorts of different synergies that are going to do really great things. So I think we have arrived at a moment where this multi-district thing is real. It's also going to include probably John Germ's district down in Chattanooga. So our district, Chattanooga, and District 3450 in Hong Kong and Mongolia, we could really move the needle in Mongolia. So that's kind of an update on what's happening with this project that's in process. And I hope you guys are excited about that, like I obviously am. Please feel free to stay and chat with Toya for a moment. Thank you.
Okay, my first challenge, how to work this clicker here. Oh, you know, I'm just a university professor. I don't know this practical stuff.
Okay, the back arrow is forward.
This one here, okay. Thank you. I'm here to speak about one of our new project opportunities. This is Veracruz, Mexico. As many of you know, many years ago, I married a young lady from Veracruz and we have roots there. In fact, we have a home there. We visit with some frequency, and over the years, I've gotten to know the Rotary clubs in Veracruz and what they're doing. So to start off here, Veracruz itself is located down in the Caribbean, on the Caribbean coast. That arrow is not in where it should be. Veracruz is a bit further north, but at any rate, it's there on the coast. And for those of you that are familiar with Mexico, this is a tropical region. And it's a region that was originally inhabited by the Olmecas that met with Cortez when he came to conquer the Aztecs. In fact, it's really interesting because he landed in a place just north of the city of Veracruz itself, in a place now called Antigua. In fact, those of you that would accompany me down there will have the opportunity to visit there, perhaps with our colleague Rotarians there. Veracruz is still very provincial, and it's a province that's known by the bamba. This is a local dance. The dress that people are wearing there is the jarocho dance. This is the name that's given to the culture of that region. I know that George and Wynn, when they were down there with me recently, were kind of surprised. We were eating breakfast one morning about 10 o'clock, and this lady came in dressed as a jarocha and began dancing, and we weren't quite sure what it was all about, but they were impressed, and I think actually they took videos of the dancing. George and Wynn were down there with me. This was several weeks ago. We visited a Paul Harris Center. Now, this is a very interesting phenomenon here. It may be unique. Back in the late 50s, the city of Veracruz ceded a block of land to the Rotarian Club. There was only one Rotarian Club in Veracruz at the time, to do good. And over the years, it has been used for many functions. Approximately 13 years ago, several Rotarians really took this to heart and said, we want to build up this center as a center to reach out to the local community, local needy community. And of course, they coined it the Paul Harris Center. There's a statue there of Paul Harris. Paul Harris actually sent an envoy down to Veracruz in 1923 to form a Rotary Club there. So there is a history here of Rotary in the area. Now, our club recently then, when we were down there, they suggested to us at the Paul Harris Center that what they would like to do is to build a temazcal. A temazcal is a sweat lodge. That may not sound like much to us, but for them, it's something that has great historical, spiritual, and ritual roots. And I don't need to get into it now, but for them, it's very important. And we saw this as an opportunity to build a temazcal that the local population could use because it would be very low priced, very accessible, and would also be a money winner for the Paul Harris Center itself. They are self-funded and they need ways to keep themselves sustainable. So our club provided them with $1,500, and this is the resulting temazcal. As it turns out now, this coming Saturday or this coming week, I'll be going down along with Darnell, and this temazcal will actually be inaugurated on Wednesday. We expect to have the district governor of 4385 there, as well as other dignitaries, and we'll bring back photos of it for all of you to see. Well, there we had great interactions with several Rotary clubs. One of them, the Rotary Club of Villarica. Here where we were at a breakfast meeting. I just wanted to say here that those of you that would like to accompany us in the future will find the Rotarians there to be very congenial. It'll be a marvelous opportunity for you to interact with them and get a better sense of what their culture is all about. And while you're there, we'll be very pleased to host you at Casa Aida. That's our house there. It was built by my wife in 2008. And we do have an old car there also, which is very operational. So we'll be very pleased to host you there and get you around town. And thank you very much. And I think we're still on time. Thank you.
Very good. Very good.
Fantastic. Great presentation. I appreciate that the committee would take the time to update the club on what they've been doing and all the great work. I think it's very important for everybody to be aware of what's going on in all these committees. Hopefully you're thinking about joining the ISC committee to get involved. All right. We are 1 minute past, so perfect. And I believe we have a raffle. You guys are probably raffle out, but I don't care.
Today's raffle today is $25.
$25.
Let's see, the last four numbers are 9223.
9223. Those sound good.
And let's see, so the privilege of picking the card, pick the right card today. That's worth $531.
$531 in the ace of spades.
Not as big as the Pine Brook team got.
That's for numbers 9246.
9246.
You're smiling now.
Big day. It won't last long.
We've already seen the last of Tim. Yeah.
Close.
It's time as is tradition. You'll join me in the recitation of the four-way test. Of the things we think, say, and do first. Second. Third. And fourth. Thank you, everybody. Please remember to turn your cell phones back on and your badges back in office. Have a great rest of your week. We're right here.